What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Nightmare on Elm Street movie review. I am James Sims, and this is Arlo once again. And tonight we're going to be reviewing my personal favorite in the series. And this movie is basically Nightmare on Elm Street. The series as a whole at its absolute peak. And Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master. Um, yes, like I said, this movie basically is Nightmare on Elm Street at absolute peak. It went on to gross $49 million. That's the highest. That's the most money Nightmare on Elm Street movies have seen since Freddy versus Jason was came out, like damn near 2 decades later. Um, see, the movie even gave the respect to Robert Englund and gave him the top billing. He was the star of the film because in the opening credits it says about Robert Englund in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4. So Robert Englund is the star of the film, which I think he's gladly deserved. Even though he is the basically the title character, but he is Freddy Krueger, and without Robert Englund's Freddy Krueger, the movie just doesn't have a good energy to it. So glad to see they gave Robert Englund the respect that he deserves. And man, Freddy was over at this point in time. I think if this was a little bit before or after. I mean, Will Smith, he made a song dedicated to Freddy called "Nightmare on My Street." Um, Freddie was all over MTV. He was doing presses. This is when Freddie started getting mainstream, and I can say out of the big three, I can say Freddie was the most definitely the most mainstream out of all three of them. Out of Freddie, no, out of Jason and Michael. So the last movie, that I reviewed was Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. That is definitely my second favorite Nightmare on Elm Street. Throughout the whole series, I love the characters. I love the concept. Hate the way how Nancy and John Saxon dies, but it's still a really good movie. This is my favorite out of all of them. We'll see why. Um, Arlo, you did not see part 3, but I gave off the air. I gave you a little synopsis of what part 3 was. So from what I've told you, go ahead and give your quick thoughts on part 3 and what are your thoughts going into part 4.
Just what James is telling me, I was kind of intrigued with it. I mean, I'm not excited. I'm not excited for this series, and to be honest, I don't know. It was not just this series, like the horror movie thing in general. It just seemed kind of bland to me. But yeah, I've just before this movie and stuff, all I heard was great things about like this, and then after this, the series goes like downhill and stuff. And the other previous movie, I haven't watched it yet. I was probably gonna watch it sometime soon. It's been busy. Um, so yeah, but what James has been saying, it sounds really good. But we don't agree all the time on movies, so I probably would think it'll be pretty good, and he'd probably think I probably see you like give it 8 out of 10, right, James? Yes, James. That's. I think I'm pretty sure that's what he said, and
Wait, what did I say?
you gave it an 8 out of 10.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll probably be somewhere around 6.5, 7 range for me. I haven't even watched it yet, but it sounds good. But yeah, I wasn't really that excited for this movie at all. Um,
Oh yeah, the utter disrespect he showed basically a fan favorite whose name is Kincaid that was displayed or off the air.
oh yeah, he just sounds like something.
Okay.
No, he sounds like how Magic Johnson's son looks like. Let's just leave it at that.
Well, say whatever you want, but Kincaid was basically the best character in the movie part 3. Just want to let you know. You'll see when you watch it. But yeah, let's get on with the review. We get the opening credits, and Arlo, I know you don't care about musical scores, but I like the song that plays in the beginning, and I like how the movie is presented. Performed by Tuesday Night. Nightmare, running from this nightmare. I really like the opening song. Sets a good tone for the film. And I liked how before the title shows up, you see, Freddy, slashes across the screen. I really liked how the movie was presented. And then, of course, Robert Englund in Nightmare on Elm Street. Thought that was really cool. So the movie starts out by... Now, unfortunately, Patricia Arquette, who played Kirsten in the third film, could not come back for the fourth film because apparently she was pregnant during the time. So they hired Tuesday Night to come and play Kirsten in the fourth film. Now, Kirsten, we meet Kirsten, who basically is stuck in another nightmare. She still kind of believes that, Freddy is still around. So, we meet Kristen up in the 1428 Elm house. And the one thing I really enjoy about these Nightmare films is I really enjoy the imagination, the inventiveness. I mean, it's a movie based off nightmares and dreams. So, of course, it's going to be a lot of imagination going around. So I kind of like you kind of take a break from reality a little bit. And so she's stuck in the 1428 Elm house, which is basically Freddy's home. And then we in the process we learned that Kirsten, Kincaid, and Joey, who come back from the third film, they've pretty much been released from Western Hills Insane Asylum, and they're now living as normal teenagers. Now, Kirsten, believing Freddy's coming back, summons Joey and Kincaid into her dreams, and it's kind of funny because when she summons Kincaid, because Kirsten had that power in the third film that she can bring people into her dreams. So she summons Kincaid, and then Kincaid like, Kristen, you need to stop this shit and whatsoever. You're putting a dent on my beauty sleep. And she summons Joey, and then Joey's trying to tell Kirsten, look, Freddy's dead. We have nothing to worry about whatsoever. Like the boiler room's cold, the walls are cold, and everything's fine. And then Kirsten still believes that Freddy's still around whatsoever. And they warn her that keep dreaming of Freddy is basically he might actually return if we keep fucking around with the dreams. So first off, I'll say even though Patricia Arquette particularly didn't come back, it was nice to see the Dream Warriors come back again. Like I said, I like Kirsten's character in the third film. Kincaid was awesome, and I really liked the Joey character. So it was really cool to see them back again. And then on the next day, we also get to meet who we later turn out to be our lead heroine, Alice. And Kirsten, Alice, and we meet her boyfriend, Rick. And we also learn, Alice, she's kind of like, she's kind of shy, kept to herself. She, daydreams a lot. For example, daydreams like smashing her drunken father's, dinner plate on the table after she after she gets tired of his verbal attacks and whatsoever. So she daydreams frequently, and then we also learn that Kirsten's boyfriend Rick, is a martial artist whatsoever. And then we meet another group of characters. I want to get the particular characters' names. For one, like Kirsten, Alice likes a boy who kind of looked like Eli Manning. Her name was Dan, and we also meet like Sheila, who's kind of like the brainiac of the group, and Debbie, who's like a tough girl, but she hates bugs whatsoever. And then while they all meet in the parking lot, Alice daydreams, of Dan, recognizing her. But she snaps out of it when Rick teases, so he can introduce them. So we meet a new group of characters here. I mean, even though we got the Dream Warriors coming back, we got Alice, Sheila, Rick, Dan and Debbie. So and they seem like very interesting characters. So I would, and of course, you got the nightmare sequences. We don't see Freddy yet, but again, still playing the imaginative world, and I love when they do that. And so far, it's off to a pretty good start. All your thoughts?
Yeah. So far, I mean, just basically, we just got introduced to the characters at first, and some of their I don't know what to say, their habits stuff. I didn't hate any of them. That's a really big thing. I didn't hate any of them. Usually it's like I hate a lot of them, but this time I really didn't hate any of them. Alice, I don't know. I don't think the person who was cast for Alice was the right person. She wasn't hot. She really wasn't that great of an actress. She didn't really bring anything to the table that would want me to want her to stay. But yeah, everybody though was pretty good though. All the characters were good.
Well, we kind of understand too. I mean, maybe you said she wasn't hot and whatsoever. Maybe that's what they were going for, particularly when it comes to her
I'm
character.
just saying, I understand that, but she wasn't really anything at all.
Well, my theory is that's the point. That's what they were going for at the beginning of the movie, as we can see her evolution as the film grows.
She didn't have it. To me, she didn't have an evolution. It was just the same character.
Me?
No.
It was not the same character.
She was boring throughout the movie.
Are you shitting me?
No. Even at the end scene where she was supposed to break out of her shell and stuff, still seemed boring to me.
Did you watch this movie, Arlo?
I did watch this movie.
Oh, okay. Okay.
There's reference to ending scene.
Acting-wise, she was boring. That's what you're saying. Acting-wise, she was boring.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, if that's the case, okay, I see your point.
What else would I be talking about?
Well, I don't know. Like, I thought you maybe talking about her character is boring, her acting. I wasn't sure.
Both.
Okay, a shy, quiet girl turned into a mixed martial artist badass that kicks Freddy's ass. Okay.
I don't even see that.
She didn't kick Freddy. Okay, we'll get to that point when we get to it. Already we're getting started. Wow. So, Kirsten go into a locker, and she meets, KK and Joey, who are still pissed off about the other night, like saying, like, no, Kirsten, you need to stop it, let it go, let's be normal for once whatsoever. And then, it's kind of a funny moment. The pretty kind of got a chuckle at, they see Kirsten's boyfriend, coming to her. She said, and then Kincaid's like, hey, how about you ask your boyfriend to give you a good night's sleep? And then, Rick goes, we don't kiss and tell. How about you two? And then Kincaid goes, motherfucker. And then Joey kind of pulls him back. And she and Rick says, kind of thinks, Kincaid, Joey are weird. And then she said, well, you must think I'm weird too, and whatsoever. And then while they're walking by, you see like slashes on a group of lockers. And I really liked how that looked, the visualization of that. I thought simple, but it was actually pretty cool. Then in our next scene, we meet we basically meet Alice, washing dishes and stuff. And while she's doing that, Rick is performing his martial arts and stuff. We learn that the father's kind of a drunk, pill popper or whatsoever. Then again, like I said, while the father is just, I forgot what he was yelling at her for, but she's just basically dogging her out, and she imagines the plate crashing on his head. And you kind of feel sorry for Alice because she seemed like she was a nice girl. She seemed like she was a pretty nice girl. And then we get to a scene where Kincaid is playing darts, and then he happens to fall asleep. And ironically, he has a dog whose name is Jason. Then and I kind of thought that's kind of ironic considering what happens in the next scene. So Kincaid falls asleep, and then he finds himself in a trunk, and he's in a junkyard. So I'm like, okay, nightmare sequence. And then Freddy kind of comes back in a bullshit way here. I mean, well. But I guess I kind of have to give it a pass because part 2 they never explain how Freddy came back. Part 3 they never explain how Freddy came back. So I guess it's okay that we get a bullshit excuse in part 4. I don't know. Jason the dog, pretty much basically pisses on Freddy's remains. Because last time we see Freddy, he was buried. His bones were buried in the ground. And then I kind of liked how Freddy came back. I liked how his bones was getting realigned. The skin was coming back on him. I thought it was a pretty good effect how Freddy came back.
You like how the dog pissed on him?
I did not like the dog pissing on her, but when Freddy, was coming back with his skin coming back on, I thought that was pretty cool, some good effects. The dog pissing on him, I'm like, really? That's how he comes back? Him being pissed on? Okay. But I guess, then Freddy's glove comes from out the ground, and then Kincaid runs. And then I kind of like, and I like how we see the shadow, of Freddy, and then the camera slowly pans up to him, and then again, they give Freddy great one-liners in this movie. He says, "You shouldn't have buried me. I'm not dead." And then he laughs and he goes chases Kincaid. Once again, Robert Englund having fun with this role. You can tell he is. They give him great things to do. I don't blame him having fun with this role. So he chases Kincaid. He's like looking for him. Then Kincaid, using his superhuman strength, because he still has that power, pushes a car onto Freddy. And the car lands on Freddy. And then Kincaid's like, yeah, take that, motherfucker. But then, of course, the cars start blaring. Some cars start getting on fire. Every time, everywhere Kincaid runs, he's being blocked off. Everywhere he looks, there's cars and horns blaring at him. You know, he has nowhere to go. Then he looks up and says, Kirsten, Freddy's back! And then it echoes, Freddy's back! Freddy's back! And then Freddy just appears out of nowhere, grabs Kincaid, and stabs him. And then stabs him, and Kincaid goes, no, I'll see you in hell. And then Freddy says, well, tell him Freddy sent you. Then he stabs him even deeper. And then Freddy says, 1 down, 2 to go. And he kills Kincaid. And I'm like, fuck, that sucks. I mean, you kill off basically the best character in the third film. Oh, and also, and people, live viewers, press refresh on the stream, and you'll be able to comment. Yeah, just refresh the page. But yeah, Kincaid dies. I'm like, fuck. You kill off my favorite character in the third film, and you kill him before we even reach the 20-minute mark. Damn. And then, you know, Kirsten, you know, she can't sleep, of course. So she, you know, she gets up to smoke a cigarette whatsoever. And she's basically staying awake. And while Joey, you know, he nods off himself. And then just like in the third film, he sleeps on a waterbed. And just like in the third film when he got distracted, by a big tit lady, the nurse, he once again gets distracted here. You know, the big tit, you know, girl with big titties is like in the waterbed, you know, flirting with him whatsoever. All of a sudden, she disappears, and then Freddy just comes out the waterbed, grabs him, and another great one-liner. How's this for a wet dream? And then he drowns him. And Joey's saying, hey, Kirsten, help! And then Freddy, you know, stabs him under the water. Now, I'm not liking this, because I'm like, what happened to their powers? Like, is Freddy now too, like their powers no longer work anymore? And they're killing the Dream Warrior out. They're killing him off way too quickly for my liking. Way too quickly. We're not even at the 30-minute mark. So in just 20 minutes, Freddy kills Kincaid and Joey. So I'm like, I don't like this. Then the waterbed, you know, is just, you know, is basically just a pool of blood. And then we get a moment where, you know, where Rick basically tells, you know, Alice that she needs to, you know, she needs to stand up for herself. Can't have people like be pushing you around or whatsoever. And then he tries to teach her how to do a karate kick. And then, like I said, you know, like Alice, she's more shy, kept to herself, doesn't really want to do much. And then, kind of a funny moment where, like here, now just do this move. And does a karate kick, and he makes something like, yeah, you know, he does that. And then Alice completely botches. She tries to kick. She goes, yeah, you know. I kind of got a chuckle at that. You know, nice little, you know, brother and sister moment. But yeah. So Arlo, Freddy killed the fucking Dream Warriors. Now I know you didn't watch the third film, so you don't really know them as much, but I thought they killed them off way too quickly for my liking, and some more character development with Alice and Rick, you know, and Kirsten, you know, still not sure if Freddy's dead or not. So, and then Freddy's return. And so, yeah, all your thoughts.
Yeah, you can see how I would think that, but after like she brings those two to like the dream world, I'm like, oh, I guess that's why they're called. I forget what was it, Dream Chasers. That was the third one that was called, right?
Dream Warriors.
warriors, whatever they were called, and they like came together like when she called him. So that, oh, I get it. That's why this is this because they're like they're in it for like to try to keep each other safe and stuff. Oh, that's cool. And then Kincaid dying and the other guy dying. I like the Kincaid thing, like how they, like you said, do the bones and the skin and stuff. I like that. Don't like the kissing part, but I can excuse that. Like I like how he just did like the subtle things, like the skin's coming back and all that stuff, and then he picks up his hat like oh shit, it's ready time for business now. And then the whole naked girl in the water bed, that was cool. Obviously, naked girl. And then yeah, he's dead and stuff. Um, yeah, it was an interesting couple of deaths. It was way better than I thought it would be.
That's pretty cool. And what? What's so funny? What? I don't know. I don't know. But so so we later learn that Alice is working in she's working in a diner. You know, where she, you know, she talks to Dan or whatsoever, and then she has a crush on Dan, but she's like, you know, she's like really shy and shit. And Then we later learn that Sheila wants to be she wants to be a doctor, and then Debbie, she's just into, she's one of those chicks that's just into working out whatsoever. And then we find out, and then Alice learns that Joey and Kincaid both died that night. So Kirsten wants to go into the Freddy house on 1428 Elm Street house. She says that, Joey says, well, first off, Don and Rick go through, Freddy's backstory about how he was a child murderer, released on technicality, he got burned alive, whatsoever, yada, yada, yada. And, Kirsten believes, she knows that Freddy's after her now. And Rick tries to say, no, I won't let anything happen to you. And then she said, it's not that easy. And then, of course, we meet, Kirsten's mother. That was in the third film. She needs to come home. You need to come home like, underlay. The same thing she was telling her daughter in the third movie. And then we're at the dinner table, and Kirsten's, she's trying to tell her mother, but the mother won't understand, saying, you haven't been sleeping. You need to take care of that. Right now. And then Kirsten learns that the mother drugged up with sleeping pills in her drink. And she says she's trying to tell her mother, you've killed me and all that stuff. He's after me and you've killed me and whatsoever. And Kristen's trying to move around to stay awake, but the sleeping pills are too fucking strong. And then she falls asleep. And of course, we're in Dreamland. And Dreamland, Kirsten's on the beach. And then a nice little nod to Jaws here, where Freddy's glove comes through the water. He's coming through the water like a shark fin. And gotta put this on mute, it's distracting me. Yeah, yeah, and then Freddy comes out the water. Kirsten tries to run, but she's sunk into the sand. And then Freddy puts his sunglasses on and laughs and basically stomp. Well, she doesn't stomp, but take his foot and smothers it down into the sand. And then now we're back into the Freddy house. Now, Freddy finds Kirsten. He said, come on, Kirsten, call your friends and all that stuff. Reach out and touch somebody, Kirsten. And then Kirsten doesn't want to, but then she somehow gets Alice to come into her dream. And when Alice comes into her dream, another classic Freddy one-liner, how sweet, fresh meat. So now Freddy knows how she has some more victims. And then we get another fucking thing where Kirsten tries to save Alice, but then Freddy she runs towards her. She runs towards him, and then Freddy just takes her and throws her into a fiery pit. And now Kirsten's dead. So I'm like, not even we killed the Dream Warriors off. I'm pretty sure it's no fact at this point. I always have one problem with the Nightmare on Elm Street films, and this is the one problem for me. I think the Dream Warriors died. They died too easily. They died too early and too easily. That's just my opinion. So, and then Freddy's now, he opens up his chest and shows different souls that he's gathered. Now, Kirsten's part of the souls that he's gathered. and now he's after Alice now. So Arlo, so now 3 of the Dream Warriors are dead. Freddy fucking up with people, mentally, of course, as he always does. And so far, it's another pretty entertaining Nightmare on Elm Street film, I'd say so far. Arlo, your thoughts?
I'd have to agree with you with that. The 2 people that died, and now Kristen dying. I liked how she tried to stay awake, and I don't know any like sleeping pills, but if any sleeping pills make you like knock out that fast, that's some crazy shit right there. But yeah, and she died. That was a pretty good death scene. Before they can go into the house and stuff, and that would have been cool to see like all their things in there. But we do see her death. That's good. And like she didn't have any of her dream warriors or anything, and instead of dying like I don't know, like a person like to like die and then what's it called? Then be like have him be over with it and everything, and then but she's a bitch, and it's Alice in there too, so she fucks Alice over as well, so that's good.
Yeah, again, I'm still kind of like, really, like, you didn't have to kill the Dream Warrior off this fucking. I mean, at least Kincaid could have lived. Yeah, that just rubbed me the wrong way. But so now we go to their funeral. Well, before that, they go to Kirsten's house to check up on her, and she's basically just burned alive in her bed. I'm like, okay, well, way to add more salt to the wound there. Fuck. And then I think before that, Freddy, like there's a picture of Freddy holding Alice, and she's, I think it was like greetings from hell, something like that. Like Freddy, though, he's a troll. Freddy is a troll too. I think that's why he's so interesting, more interesting than the other 2, because Freddy can kill you, but he can troll you at the same time. So we get to Kristen's funeral, where we see Nancy's tombstone, John Paxson's tombstone, and we got Kincaid, Joey, and Kirsten. I'm like, oh, I forgot Nancy died too in the 3rd film, which I'm still kind of about that, because the way they had Nancy die was complete BS, in my opinion. And and then later, to make a long story short, later we also learn that Alice kind of starts gaining the personalities of each of her victims. Well, each of Freddy's victims' personalities becomes of Alice. Like, she's talking to Sheila in the bathroom. And then she tries to light up a cigarette, and she goes, "Wait a minute, I don't smoke," because that's what Kirsten did. So I thought that was a cool I thought, okay, that's an awesome concept that, all her friends that die, Alice gets, their characteristics. And we get to, I think, a pretty good scene when Alice is watching a video of Kirsten and all of them hanging out. Then her brother is still kind of grieving, and then she brings up Freddy, and then he's like, "No, don't bring him up no more. I'm tired of hearing about him. I heard from Kirsten. I don't want to hear from you too." which is understandable. You know, you just lost your girlfriend because of this quote unquote Freddy thing. I didn't blame him. You know, and then we got the bathroom scene here where out of Aunt Alice's character, she smokes a cigarette. I like that was interesting. And then we get to a classroom scene where Alice and Sheila and Rick are in the same class. They're taking like a physics test. And Alice falls asleep. But then she inadvertently brings Sheila into her dream. So now Alice has Kirsten's quote unquote talent. Now she can bring people into her dreams. You know, and then Freddy shows up, of course. And then he takes an apple. He's like slowly cutting it with his finger knives. And if I remember correctly, I think there was something on. I think she started bleeding Sheila, who kind of looked like Maya for some reason. I thought she kind of looked like Maya a little bit. And then, of course, like a hand comes from Sheila's desk, grabs Sheila's face, and then Sheila, they will get away from it. And then Freddy, again, slowly chops up the apple with his knives. Then he goes up to Sheila, caresses her face, goes, "Wanna suck face?" Grabs her face and literally sucks the life out of her. Sheila becomes deflated. I really like the effect of that. I thought that was really cool. And then in the reality world, Sheila, who's asthmatic, she has like an asthma attack. But then of course, she dies. And then Alice feels like shit because if she feels like it's her fault, she brought Sheila into her dream. And then it starts getting to a point that now Rick's starting to believe Alice. So now Sheila's dead. Freddy now knows who his next victims are. Alice is starting to. She now has Kirsten's personality traits, and we're starting to see. This is where we kind of start to see Alice, grow to be a stronger character. And so yeah, all your thoughts. Arlo.
Yeah.
Your thoughts.
Oh, what would you end on? I had some technical difficulties.
Freddy killing Sheila in the classroom.
Oh yeah, that was pretty crazy. That was really weird too. It's like her body deflating and stuff. I did not expect that. That was something out of a horror movie. Guess what it was? Horror movie. That's pretty cool. And yeah.
Alice getting Kirsten's personality, smoking the cigarette.
Yeah,
okay.
And then Alice seeing it and not really being able to do shit about it, and brought her into it, and at a second we thought she got away and stuff, and with when she pulled out that thing back into the desk, but no, Freddy got her and sucked the soul out of her, and that was really cool. Graphics and stuff for it. But yeah, the whole acting like other people, I'm like, alright, that's a cool. I mean, just still really bland and boring the how the characters portray what she's trying, and the brother, He's playing really well. I really liked him on in this role.
And how do you feel about Robert Englund this movie thus far?
I don't know. It's weird. I mean, I didn't know this was the same person because in the first one he was like kind of like crouched down and running around, that kind of stuff, and now he's like more straightened out, and going like towards the people and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like straight up and like walking straight. And then the first two movies, he was like kind of like have his knees bent and like
In the
lobster
shadows.
walking. Yeah, kind of like lobster walking. You know, he's like up straight and all that stuff. So I didn't know it was the same guy because of that.
Yes. Yeah, from 1 all the way to Jason versus Freddy, and also the TV series that these movies spawned. Robert Englund has played Freddy Krueger in every single one except for the remake. That's a pretty impressive feat if you think about it. Basically, play the same character for 2+ decades. That's an accomplishment.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yes, Robert Englund's the man. So later on, Dan, who's friends with Rick, sticks up for him because the dude's like talking shit. Like, you gotta feel bad for him. I mean, he has a dead girlfriend, a basket case of a sister. Then Dan's like, hey, why don't you shut your fucking mouth and whatsoever. So I was like, okay, he's being a good friend. That's pretty cool. And Rick, he says, who's basically walking around like a zombie. He's been up with Alice all night whatsoever, because now Rick kind of believes what's going on with the Freddy thing too. Then he goes into the restroom. And of course he nods off. Then he wakes himself back up, and then when he wakes up, when he's in the bathroom stall, a bunch of cheerleaders come in and like surrounding him. Which I'm like, okay, we're off to a good start with this dream. And Alice is there with him, and then like she'll like push Alice out, and then she sees Kirsten. She was like, "Oh, Rick, you make me laugh whatsoever." But then when Kristen turns around, we see like her burnt face and stuff, like reaching out for Rick. And now the bathroom stall is now an elevator. And then you hear Freddy go, "We're going down now, Ricky." And then it's like full throttle just going down very fast. And it's like, tossing Rick all over the place. Rick is trying to stop it, but he can't. Now, of course, we hear like Freddy, smiling. Of course, like I said, Freddy being laughing. Freddy is a troll. And then we get to a scene here, which I know a lot of people did not like, where the movie kind of gets like all kung fu on us, where Rick, who is a mixed martial artist expert, he has a martial arts inspired dream, and she has like Rick has his his karate outfit on. And then he goes, "Hey, Freddy, come and fight me," whatsoever. And then Freddy, who's invisible, is punching. Like, this scene looked ridiculous, but I thought it was entertaining. I didn't give a fuck. I thought it was an entertaining fight scene. Over Freddy, who is invisible, is punching Rick and whatsoever. Punching him and tossing him all over the place. And then Rick gets the upper hand. Rick, he somehow finds the little Freddy. He's punching him, kicking him, and then he kicks his glove off. And then he goes, "Ha, Freddy, now how are you gonna beat me without your weapon?" And then Freddy has the ability to make his glove rise and flings it towards Rick, and he stabs him in the stomach. So I'm like, wow, so now Al's brother's dead. if you guys notice that this movie's going at a fairly quick pace. It's not dragging at all, which I greatly appreciated. You know, some horror movies like drag on, you know, Rob Zombie's Halloween. This is going at a very quick pace, which I'm like, cool, awesome. So now Rick is dead. You know, Rick is dead, and then we go to Rick's funeral, where she daydreams that, you know, Rick is still alive, and then she just stops daydreaming. She goes, no more daydreams. And then Rick goes back into his coffin. And then we also learn that she's starting to become smart like Sheila. Because one of the things that Sheila was telling Debbie, you know, you guys need to follow my advice. Mind over matter. And then now even Al's starting to talk like her, you know, where Debbie kind of gives her what are those things called you wrap around your sleeve? Not your sleeve, your wristband. Gives her like a wristband, saying it's for good luck. You know, and Debbie was like, I did not work out this hard, so that way some night stalker could get me. And then Alice tells her, you know, it's not just a night stalker. It's going to take more than just bench pressing to beat him. And then Debbie, you know, gives Alice the wristband for good luck. And then we see more of Alice changing because she says what Sheila says, mind over matter. And then Dan and Debbie have noticed that she's been changing after every death. And then she takes, looks herself in the mirror, and then more clues that Alice is changing. She finds her brother's nunchucks. Then the song, anything, anything, anything. She takes her nunchucks and she basically just goes Bruce Lee style in front of the mirror. You know how Bruce Lee does when she just basically just swings it around his body and over his shoulder and stuff. So now Alice has acquired Kristen's power, have acquired, Sheila's brains, and now she's acquired Rick's martial art abilities. And then after she does the thing with nunchucks, she just looks at her and goes, "What is going on with me?" And then if I was else, I'd be the same way too. I mean, fuck. A day before, if I did those things with nunchucks, I would more than likely hit myself in the balls. But now I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm just doing it like an expert. It would kind of freak me out a little bit. And now I'm become super smart now. Now I can pull people in my dreams now. So yeah, again, the reason why I kind of like the Alice character, because I relate to the Alice character. Because again, pulling back the curtain a little bit, when I was in high school, I was kind of a shy kid too. I was a shy kid. I daydreamed a lot. So I was kind of a lot like Alice. And then as the years go on, I become more outgoing, more comfortable in myself, more outspoken now. I'm more confident in myself, and that's what we see Alice going through. She becomes stronger, more confident in herself. So I'm like, okay, this is really cool. So after we learn that Alice knows martial arts now, she tries to go visit Debbie. But then, of course, the father, who knows exactly what's going on here, he doesn't want Alice to leave. But then, Dan, who told Alice she was going to meet her at the diner, is waiting for Alice while Alice basically sneaks out the house. So Arlo, we're seeing Alice become stronger and stronger as every death happens. Some say the Rick death was quote unquote too silly, but for me, I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was funny, and Robert Englund's he's great once again as Freddy. Um, anything else that happened before that? But yeah, that's basically it. All your thoughts?
Yeah, we just got to her doing the nunchucks and stuff, right? Getting power.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. I like Rick's death. I mean, it wasn't the best one so far, and not even like the next best death. But it was not that bad. I like the kung fu aspect of it. Um, yeah, but it didn't really make sense because Freddy was fighting him, and then out of nowhere, it's like, oh, let me just kill you. Like he could have done that the entire time. It seems like. Yeah, but I didn't think it was that bad. It
Well,
was
that's just Freddy's thing. He likes to embarrass you before he kills you.
embarrass you in front of what?
Well, for his personal amusement.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, that wasn't bad. So I enjoyed that. Um, and then it got kind of weird. I'm like, she started doing the nunchucks and stuff like that. I'm like, when the fuck did this happen? When the fuck she get this good at nunchucks? And I mean, I obviously could tell like that's not really her doing the nunchuck stuff because when she was doing them, all they were like pointing at her back and stuff, and then like they zoomed in on her face and all that stuff. So
Yeah, I saw that too, but I didn't give a fuck.
true.
Um. So, all right. So Alice escapes from the house, and then she goes. Then she goes into a movie theater, and she goes to a movie theater, watch a movie. I think it's at the Reefer Madness. And then lo and behold, she's in another dream. Uh, and again, I like how this was shot too. It's like she's looking at the movie, and then she's like being sucked into the movie. She's trying to hang on, but she can't. She's now in the movie now. Like I like how they play with the imaginations. And then she finds herself in a diner, and then she finds her older self. Serving. She finds older Alice serving young Alice. Saying like, I don't want to be here all day. What would you like? And all that stuff. And Alice like freaking out, which I'm pretty sure anybody else would. And then of course, Freddy's there, and another funny line from Freddy. Like Alice serves him pizza, and then it's like meatballs, and like every single meatball is basically the faces of all his victims. Then he goes, "Oh, my favorite! I love soul food." And,
That was so stupid, but I liked it. I don't know.
like I love soul food, and he like takes the meatball. They just like slowly eats it. And I'm like, ugh, fuck. And then Freddy, grabs Alice, says, "Bring me more." And he now finds Debbie. And he now is the clue that he's gonna go after Debbie now. And then I like what Freddy says to Alice. He says, he says, "Your shift is over." And then he just like flings her away. And now Alice wakes up, and she tries to go save Debbie. I love soul food, man. Freddy is such a troll. And Debbie, who's basically just like lifting weights whatsoever. And Dan and Alice, they're trying to reach Debbie, but Freddy does a thing here where, again, people shit on the fact that Freddy was in the real world, manipulating the real world in part 2, but in part 1 he did it, part 3 he did it. And I said, Jay, how you doing part 3? Because remember the scene when Alice, who wasn't sleeping, by the way, was watching over Joey, who was in a coma. Then she says, release him, you bastard. And Freddy, looks like Joey's shirt rips open, and then Freddy writes on him saying, come and get him, bitch. And now he does the same thing here, where Dan and Alice tries to reach Debbie, but Freddy has him in a cycle, like they got him running in circles. So again, people shit on it for doing it in part 2, but everybody loves it in the other films. I'm sorry, I'll defend part 2. I don't give a damn. Yeah, I don't give a damn. And then Dan kind of notices, she feels like, she feels like, wait, we've been doing the same thing twice and whatsoever. And then, of course, then Alice realized, oh my God, we're in circles, gotta get out of here now. And Freddy, reaches Debbie, and Debbie's afraid of bugs. And I will say Debbie has the best kill in the movie, no question.
Yeah.
Debbie's lifting weights, and then Freddy basically is right above her, and then she laughs, and Debbie goes, I don't believe in you. Then Freddy goes, oh, but I believe in you. And he pushes the barbell, the weights down, and wow, this death made me go, oh shit. He breaks Debbie's elbow, arms, and her arms become like bug arms. Her arms become like bug arms. Really good, really great effects here. I really love the effects they put into this. It turns into bug arms. And then antlers coming out of her shoulders. And and now she's trying to walk, but her feet's stuck in some goo. And it looks like she's in a box. Then her face is in the goo, and she's trying to take it out. And then her face splits open. Now she has an insect face. Now she's an insect now. And then Freddy has her in a box where it kind of says Roach Motel. And then Freddy's looking inside the box with Debbie in the box. He goes, you can check in, but you can't check out. And then he squeezes the box with his hand, and the bug juice is coming out of the box. I'm like, wow. So Debbie had the best fucking kill in the movie. I thought that was awesome. That was an awesome death scene right there. And then for the next scene, and while Debbie dies, now Alice has Debbie's personality trait now. And then she sees Freddy, and then she goes to run him over, but unfortunately, they hit nothing basically, but get into a big crash, and injures Dan. And then while that happens, Dan and Alice are headed to the hospital. So Arlo, really fun shit we're getting right here. Really fun stuff. Debbie, no question, best kill in the movie. Then of course I love soul food scene. This movie is entertaining the shit out of me. I'm really loving this film right now. All your thoughts?
Yeah, her death scene. It was a little weird because the bug stuff, but when he snapped her arms, I thought it was really cool before the bug stuff, and that just got weird to me. I'm not fond of bugs. what's it called? I don't know if you mentioned Dan and Alice. Their whole scene and stuff. I really like Dan in this. And the actor who portrayed the character in this, because he was supposed to be like a douchey character, like a jock, which is typical for those.
Right.
But he wasn't. I don't know. He
Yeah,
played it
I
well.
too. Yeah, he did a good job.
It's really hard to have like a line between being a douche and being a nice person, and then he had like the perfect in between for it. But I don't know why she was lifting weights. I don't this makes sense. That's one thing that I didn't get. The soul food thing, that was pretty funny. Kind of stupid, but I still enjoyed it, obviously.
Yeah.
Like this and stuff, because we didn't really get to, especially in the first couple movies, we don't really see that much of, like, his face and all that stuff. I mean, we see it to an extent. We don't see it like crazy amounts of stuff. And like all the stuff, his face and all that. But when we did, it was pretty good. And then, like, Alice is basically gave up everybody, like all the people. Like, oh, I don't want to die. Take her. I don't want to die. Take her. Basically, she's responsible for all the murders, I guess. Yeah.
To a certain degree.
Not directly, but indirectly. She kind of gave them up so she can save herself for like another 6 hours or so. And then the whole circles and stuff, that was cool, but them going in circles, but yeah, it was pretty good.
And then also I forgot to mention that another a paramedic tries wants to put relax Dan and basically put him to sleep.
Oh, the car accident.
What was that?
Yeah, the car accident.
Yeah, right after the car accident, and then Alice goes, "No, you can't do that." And then she says, "Sorry, lady, rules are rules." Then she smacks the needle out of her hand and said, "No, we're going by my rules, okay? No needles, okay?" And I'm like, "Oh, Alice!" Now, once again, her character getting stronger. You wouldn't expect Alice in the beginning, to do that. She was more like, yeah, okay, no, yeah, no. But now she's like more upfront with it now, which I really enjoy. I mean, remember how in the first Terminator film, Arlo, how Sarah Connor was kind of the same way. Arlo?
Not really. I mean, that was a lot better than this, obviously, but
Yeah, but I'm talking about the characters, where Sarah was kind of like ditzy,
yeah, I know.
everyday girl, and she became stronger as the movie went on. It's kind of what's going on with Alice here.
Yeah, but not as close.
Why is that, Arlo?
That was a lot better.
That's your only excuse?
It's not an excuse, it's the truth, motherfucker.
Oh, because it was a better movie.
No, it was a better actress, it was a better character, and in terms of overall movies, yeah, it was a better movie.
Well, okay, I'm just saying, damn. I mean, we're
Are you trying to argue with me that that this is equal or even close to that movie?
Did you not hear me when I said kinda? I said kinda. I said kinda like Sarah Connor. Kinda.
So yes or no? You're not answering the question.
Am I saying it's equal? No, I'm not saying it's equal. But it just reminds me of it.
So yes. No.
I said no, it's not the same.
Who's better?
Linda Hamilton, obviously.
Okay.
I mean, for God's sakes. I mean, fuck. I mean, just like how when Sarah Connor killed the Terminator, Alice kicks Freddy's ass. So, just saying. I'm about to get to that scene in the third act here. So Alice basically Alice warns Dan, like, don't let them put you to sleep and whatsoever. And now, Dan's about to go into the operating room, and then Alice decides to finish this once and for all. And then we get like a cheat. The one thing about the 80s, they were really crazy on 80 montage music.
Cocaine. What?
What?
Cocaine? What?
No, not cocaine. But they liked montages.
Not cocaine.
So Dan injuries in the dream prompts his surgeons to wake him up, and Alice basically, she gets herself ready for war. She puts on, she puts on her headband, the wristband that Debbie gave her, or whatsoever, the nunchucks. And then it was done in a montage, and then she looks herself in the mirror and she goes, "Fucking A." I thought that was pretty cool. And then, of course, she takes her sleeping pills and she eats them. And then we go back into Dan. We go back to Dan in the surgery room, and again another great Freddy moment. He sees that Freddy is one of the doctors. Then she goes, and Dan goes, "Freddy?" And then Freddy takes his mask and goes, "Well, it ain't Dr. Seuss." I laughed at that. Like it ain't Dr. Seuss. I thought that was funny. And then Alice, who sees in a mirror, goes, like, "Get away from him, you son of a bitch!" And then flies into the mirror, into Freddy's dream. And then, and then she frees Dan, and they're trying to find a way, and they basically look for Freddy. And then Freddy, has them, turns this hallway into one of those, spinning things. And then he goes, "Let's go for a spin, lovebirds." And, spinning it, turning them dizzy and shit. And then while Dan and Alice they jump out the window, and they enter a church. They enter a church, and this in the process wakes Dan up. So Dan's now woken up now, and now we're down to the showdown between Freddy and Alice. And I love how Freddy's at the other end of the church. The door closes. He comes and goes, "Welcome to Wonderland, Alice." and then Alice does cartwheels towards Freddy, and she proceeds to beat the shit out of Freddy. Punches, kicks, 1-2 combos, spinning heel kicks, back kicks, front kicks, everything you can name. And Freddy's just no-selling it. Every time he keeps getting hit, he just keeps laughing and laughing and laughing. And he takes a swing at Alice. Alice just jumps over him. And then Freddy tells Bray says, "Huh, you've got their power, but I've got their souls."
Soul food.
So after he says you got their power, but I've got their souls, another great, another good Freddy line. And then Freddy tries to get Alice again, and then Alice hits him with a super kick, fucking Freddy up. He got Freddy falling all over the place. And then then she kicks Freddy off a stand, and then Freddy like grabs her from behind. And then she says, and then Robert Englund says, "You want to play games, huh? Well, I've been playing my game for a long time, bitch." And then he throws her. Freddy likes to call women bitch a lot. Um, like he does in part 3 and part 4, and I don't think he called anybody a bitch in part 2. Yeah, but he likes to call people bitches. So he throws Alice. Then Alice does a nip up. And then Freddy kind of like looks at her like, what the fuck? And then he he pulls out his glove. And then, Alice pulls out her hand. And she then takes out her nunchucks. And then she throws electricity at Freddy. And then she burns a hole through him. But then Freddy, takes his arm and hovers over it, and the hole has disappeared now. And then another great line. Freddy goes, "I am eternal." And then he pimp slaps Alice. And then while she's going towards Alice, Alice remembers the nursery rhyme called The Dream Master and forces Freddy to face his own reflection. And this might be the most violent way Freddy has ever died, I will have to say, because when he sees his own reflection, he causes the souls within him to revolt suddenly due to the positive energy from the Dream Master. And as the souls are trying to come out, they're ripping Freddy to shreds, like ripping his mouth open, ripping his stomach open. Definitely the most gruesome way Freddy's ever died in the Nightmare on Elm Street film. And after they basically tear Freddy apart, his body just falls and the glove falls. And and then in the meantime, Alice released all his friends' spirit, as they all go up to heaven. So yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool fight scene there. Freddy got his ass kicked most of the time, but Freddy had some great one-liners all throughout the fight. "I am eternal. I played my game really well too, bitch. And welcome to Wonderland, Alice." Freddy had some great lines in there. Alice did her thing, and then Freddy died in a pretty cool way. So Arlo, you got the Alice basically, telling the doctor, we're playing by my rules now. The surgery scene, Alice preparing herself for battle, and the fight scenes. So Arlo, your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought you talked about him dying or no?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
The souls tearing them apart. Yeah.
I like that part. That was pretty cool. The fight scene. I wasn't really high on it because how they presented it. It was basically zoomed in on the faces and stuff, and there's especially Alice and stuff. It just looked bad because this it was zoomed in on her face, and then it was a punch and stuff, and then it was a kick. It was all zoomed in on her face, and it's really weird. Yeah, she got most of the offense and stuff. But yeah, she ended up beating him. It was pretty cool. And a little bit before that, the whole her getting the montage stuff, that was pretty. I like that part. The Dan, where like like they woke him up and stuff. So basically, it was her against Freddy. That was good. And yeah, so and that was basically the ending of Freddy in this movie, and really liked it.
Yeah. Um. So, well, they begun well, months later, and it looks like Alice finally, finally has Dan. They have begun dating, and they find a fountain, a water fountain, and a wishing fountain. What those things called? And then she says like, let's make a wish, and then she goes, oh, I don't believe in that stuff, and he tosses a coin into the fountain, and then Alice looks in the water, and she sees a reflection of Freddy in the water. She sees a reflection of Freddy in the water, and she just ignores it. And Dan asks her, "So what'd you wish for?" And she said, "Well, if I told you, it wouldn't come true." And then Dan and Alice are holding hands, walking down a sidewalk, and roll credits, and Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master. Again, this is my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street film of the series. I enjoyed the Alice character. I liked, seeing her as the movie goes on, goes from the shy, meek girl into this strong, independent woman. I liked most of the characters. I liked Debbie. I liked Rick. I liked Sheila. Robert Englund is great once again. Like I said, he is the star of the movie. And he delivered great one-liners and really cool, inventive deaths once again. Again, my one problem. Fuck. I mean, I always have at least one problem. The first movie, the ending. The second movie, the ending. Third movie, Nancy and John Saxon dying. This movie, the Dream Warriors dying too soon and too easily. I would have liked if the Dream Warriors were around just a little bit longer. Or hell, if you're gonna kill all of them, why not just keep Kincaid alive? So that disappointed me. But I love this movie. I love the imagination, the inventive death scenes. I just love this movie. This is my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street film of the series. So it's good night. All right, guys already know it's gonna get a high rating for me, and fuck, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 for me. And Alice is my favorite heroine in the Nightmare on Elm Street films. Now, I love Nancy. I absolutely love Nancy's character, but I just related to Alice more. I just related to her more, and that's why I think Alice is my favorite over Nancy. So yeah, definitely a 9 out of 10 for me, and yeah, just a great, fun, imaginative film. All your thoughts on the last scene and your overall thoughts on the movie.
Yeah, the last scenes are just wishy-wash. It's basic scenes for the movie. It's just like reminiscing on all the stuff that happened. And that's about it. It wasn't really anything special, just water fountain stuff. Yay, happy, happy, happy. Basically, but it's not end of it. Everybody knows that. I really did enjoy this movie, but the problem I'm having with these movies and stuff is the excitement when I'm watching them. Like, yeah, they're good movies. They're have a good plot and a good premise and all that kind of stuff. None of them are too exciting to me. None of them are too scary. None of them are too well written. None of them are um, anything that is extraordinary. Is anything that's popping out of the screen or anything like that. So in terms of that, I did. Um, I enjoyed this movie, but just not too exciting. Um, but I did enjoy it, and I gave it like 6.5 out of 10. It's pretty good for a movie. I forgot what I gave the second one, but that movie was a 10 out of 10 in my eyes.
Oh God.
It was so fucking funny.
Just never mind. I'm done. I'm done talking about that movie, bro.
Great.
Well, but yeah, I mean, like I said though, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 is definitely the peak of the series, where Freddy's, the Freddy, was extremely over at this point. But some say it was after this movie. This is where the Nightmare on Elm Street movie started going downhill, and I greatly agree, because after this movie, we're going to review. Oh God, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5: The Dream Child. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just give a little teaser. I don't like this film. I don't like this film. Uh, I'll just give one example. This is Robert Englund's weakest Freddy throughout the whole franchise. Because notice how Robert Englund brings a certain energy to the film. He brings this little certain something to the film. You could tell he's having fun with it. You could tell he's trying. In Part 5, I could tell he's not giving it his all in Part 5, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. So yeah, you can say Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 was definitely the rise, but you also say the fall of Nightmare on Elm Street films, because this is when everybody says that Freddy started becoming mainstream. But I don't give a fuck though. I can watch this movie over and over again and not be bored. I love Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master. Classic film. And I forgot what the ending song of the movie was, but I was kind of nodding my head to it a little bit too. I thought it was a pretty fun song. So yeah, there you have it. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master movie review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Arlo, go ahead and plug in your stuff.
I don't know it. Can you plug it for me?
Oh my God, you've gotten so damn lazy lately. Wow. Okay. At Clean Silverware on Twitter.
That's so hard to do, right, James?
Yeah, right, Arlo. You can find me at JTimsy1193 on Twitter. Also, subscribe to my King JT channel. Also, subscribe to my James Timms THAMES YouTube channel. That's where the bulk of Arlo and I's movie reviews are at. We've done the Friday the 13th movies, the Halloween movies, most of the Terminator films before I got flagged, and I'm thinking I'm going to take the movie reviews. I'm going to put them on. I'm gonna keep them here, but I'm also gonna put them on my older channel as well.
That's a playlist.
On my playlist, so that way my other subscribers can look at those. And it looks like tomorrow night, we might be able to do the Friday 13th. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5 Dream Child review tomorrow night. It looks like that may be the case, because and also we may have a special guest, Classic Chris, maybe joining us. He's a big Freddy fan, So looking forward to bringing him on there if he can make it to get his thoughts on Freddy and hopefully his thoughts on the first 5 movies as well. Always nice to have a fellow horror fan that enjoy these type of movies, into the conversation, because conversations like that are always fun. So look out for that. Of course, next Monday, Blitz Team Live commentaries. You guys know, support the boys, Mad Genius, Adam, Justin, Nick, Mark, Bruce, of course. Everybody on the Blitz team, blitzsportsnetwork.com. Y'all know where to go. Y'all know what to do for that. And looks like we'll end it there. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this review, and we will see you guys. Tomorrow night for Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child movie review. So everybody have a good night, and we are out. Peace.